Hey, how's it going? Ronin man, driving down the coast here with Nick, and he's asking some questions, so I thought it'd be a good time to record some of this stuff. So, first question was,
what happens with a girl when she comes over? How does she adapt?
Okay, so he's talking about bringing a girl over from Asia over here to Australia, and you're 62 years old, so he's looking for a girl to bring her over. I think it'd be a good idea, and see how that goes. How does that go down? Okay, I've seen a lot of cases like this, so I can give maybe some surprising angles that you never thought about. I'm not going to give a general pronouncement of good or bad. I'm just going to say the reality. Okay, first thing is there's different. Let's categorize these into what were the categories. So basically, eating and food, friendships and relationships, and weird things you would never predict. Okay, and other what else? Customs, things like that, right? So, okay, so I'll try to zip through these quick. Okay, but it's good to know, because even if you never do this, you never even think about, like, I would never do this, but what your friends are going to do it. Your dad might do it. Someone's going to do it, right? Someone's going to fucking do it around you. And if you have a clue of how these things go down, you can help, right? You can give advice. You can help people, right? Because a lot of guys, they just don't know. So what are the factors? First thing is food. Food is way more serious than you think, especially if the girl's from Asia, because most Asian girls cannot really eat Western food very long, and if they do, they're going to get really fat. That's another thing. If they do adapt to the food quickly, ice cream at night along the beach, pizza, she's going to balloon out like crazy, and that has very bad consequences for you, like so bad, because she's going to feel terrible about herself too. She's from Asian countries generally, there's a lot of social pressure not to be fat. So if she gets fat, she's going to be super embarrassed when she goes home, and she's going to feel bad about herself, and that's not going to be good for you. Not to mention the fact that you might have picked her because she wasn't fat, but when she gets to a new country, and she might really like the food, some girls don't. Okay, so let's say she does like the food, then you're in trouble, right? And then you got all kinds of problems, not to mention health problems, but also self-esteem problems. And what does a girl do when she has low self-esteem? She tries to bump it up a bit. How do you bump it up a bit as a girl? You have guys hitting on you. All right? So that's the easy way for a girl to feel better about herself, go to a club, put on a tight dress. Now, she might consider herself fat, but in your country, she might look skinny to the local guys. So, you know what I mean? So, like, even if you think she looks fat because you're used to Asia or whatever, and she's used to Asia because she grew up there, the other guys are not. They're used to, like, full-on fucking whales. And when they see her, she's going to look hot and she's going to look exotic, right? And so that's a big problem. Next, okay, let's say that she doesn't get like that. Let's say she goes the other way. So she only wants to eat Cambodian food, or she only wants to, you know what I mean? Thai food, whatever it is. Okay, that's a problem. Because one, usually it's pretty expensive, right? To go out to restaurants all the time, right? Or she's going to want to cook at home all the time. Or, then this is the most common thing. My friend in LA married to a Cambodian girl. In some ways, it looks fucking pretty good. Like, I went to his baby shower, and I got there, and his girlfriend, or his wife, I was surprised. Like, she had huge fake boobs. And then all her friends had huge fake boobs. I swear, every single one of them. Like, at this party, there was like 6 Cambodian girls, all with massive fake boobs. And I mean, I'm not a boob guy anyway, so it didn't look, I don't like it. But anyway, it looked interesting. It's something interesting. And I thought, well, this is nice. All the Cambodian girls are, cooking Cambodian food for the shower. Oh, that's cool. That's very quaint. That's nice. I like Cambodian food. I like vegetables. I'm not a big fan of Western food, so that looked really good to me. I could eat vegetables and stuff that I usually eat, right? And so, but then I said to him, hey, this is really nice. They all come over and do this. And he said, yeah. He says, he goes, they do this every day. And I was like, really? He's like, she can't eat any other food. So basically, like, his house is basically not his house. He's got like tons of Cambodian families basically living with him all day. They go home at night, but they're there all day. That's a pretty serious thing to know about. He had no idea about that when he met her. He thought, he's got this girl and everything's fine. It's going to be him and her. This guy has a very expensive house too. There's a very expensive house in a very expensive part of LA, and looking over the ocean, and exclusive neighborhood. And he's got 40 Cambodian people. Who knows? There's guys too. Maybe they're boning his wife, right? Very good possibility, right? They get the, he's gone in the daytime. He works all day, like Cambodian guys at home, very, very, this happens more than you think. Is that Asian girls, they have a boyfriend or a guy that they wanted to marry back home, and they only married you for money and passport. And this is even in the best case scenario. This is even when they stay with you. Every time they go home to their hometown, they're getting railed by their ex-boyfriend, or they consider their real love. Like you're just their money man. And there's two parts to that, right? One is just giving money, but the other part is not being wanted, not being desired. When you get a girl and you bone the shit out of her, you think that it's going to be hot, right? You think there's going to be a lot of passion, right? But if you knew you were just going to be the stand-in for some fucking Cambodian guy, you might not be so excited, right? So that's the other thing. Asian girls, when they go to their hometown, Filipinos, almost 100%, they're getting railed by their old boyfriend. So you got to know that. And most guys have been married to girls 20, 30 years. They don't know this. They don't know because they don't see it. And no one tells them. It's a conspiracy, right, with Asian families. They're never going to tell the foreign guy that his wife is getting railed by her old boyfriends. But it's very, 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 very common. Okay? It's like add on 3,000 more varies. Okay? That's how common it is. And I don't know why. Maybe it's just like a taste of home. Maybe it's nostalgia. Whatever it is, if you're not down with that, you better know about that. Okay, that's one thing. Okay, so you got families that are going to be in your house, right? And then you got the trade-off of good food, healthy food. Okay, I like healthy food. Next, let's see. Well, if you don't speak the language. See, now for me, I actually am the type that doesn't mind that much when a girl brings like 400 people to our house, because I'm very social, and also I speak the language. Like I speak Chinese and Japanese, so when they're there, it's nice for me because they're speaking to me very naturally in the language, and so I can always be improving, my Chinese or my Japanese, because they're always talking about new things. There's new developments going on, earthquake, political, so I can hear the latest update on what's going on, some pop star, whatever people talk about. I can TV show, I can start to hear that. I like to know that because I just want to know. It's part of conversation in a language. You have to know what they talk about. So I like to get updated, and I like to have people around. So I was maybe I think I was the only foreign guy I knew who didn't mind when his girlfriend's parents would come visit. I had a girl in China I lived with because we had a business together, and it was kind of inevitable. It was the first girl I ever lived with. And having her family over was actually not that bad. Actually, it was all right. It was pretty good, actually. Yeah, they'd come over, they'd make noodles, like out of like a dough and stuff, fucking good food. She would cook like all kinds of stews and shit. And also, they spoke Chinese to me like machine gun Chinese all day. And that was great for me, because I really like that, actually. So I'm very rare on that, and my language is good enough that I could keep up with it, and it was fine. And I liked it. But, having a shit ton of people in your house is kind of weird. It can get old. Depends on what's going on. But most of the time, I actually liked it. But I liked the food. I liked the fact that it was super healthy. I liked the simplicity of it. Chinese families, her families were from near way out west, right? And so they would cook very rough food, like a rough soup, kind of like my grandmother or my great grandmother would make, from Finland, like some real rough shit, healthy, big chunks of good shit in there, and that to me that's pretty valuable. So I was willing to put up with some stuff. Combined with the language, it's like, okay, fine. And also, that family also treated me like a king, which was great, because they treated me with respect. I was paying the bills, they treated me with respect. But, now here's the thing, that is not common. Usually, you don't get respect as the foreign guy with an Asian family. Usually you don't. It's very uncommon to get a lot of respect. I've seen it before. I have friends. You have to suss this one out, and you're only going to know this if you know the family, right? You're not going to, if you date online or some shit, you're not going to have any clue about what is going on with this girl at all, and you have to think the worst. You have to. You got to fucking at least move to her hometown for a few months and check it out if you're going to think of anything. Think of doing this, but I think it's a total. I think it's you just can't meet a girl online long distance. That's a dumb idea. It's the wrong kind of girls. It's the wrong kind of situation. It's a setup from the start that you're not going to know. You're not going to really know her, right? Okay. So what are some other problems? There's a lot of stuff that you would never expect. Okay, so the food, if she likes your food, you're fucked. She's going to get fat. Yeah, and then she's gonna need to boost her self-esteem. And that is not going to be a good thing. And I've seen this a million times. And it doesn't matter how fast she gets, she can still get laid. The wall, forget about that. These girls want to get laid. Tinder, they're fucking getting laid in 5 minutes. And you're never going to know. Okay. Next thing is the girl's hotness. Okay. Let's say that you, whether you know it or not as a guy, you have a preference for either hot girls or ugly girls or plain girls. Okay? Most guys don't realize this, that they might actually like ugly girls or plain girls, right? And the reason why is because your brain has decided this is the most comfortable, best situation for you because of a lot of issues, right? Everybody has a flavor, and the better you know yourself, the better you're going to make choices. But the thing is, it becomes very complicated when a girl travels internationally. Okay, so let's say the girl is extremely hot. Okay, I brought an extremely hot girl to Southern California, and it was interesting what happened. This girl was totally in love with me, which was great, okay? And she was in love with me for quite a few years, maybe 7-8 years. Like really, like, you know what I mean? Like really crazy. But then slowly, of course, it dies down. But when she was in love, I brought her to California, and there was a lot of good points to it. I mean, it was on vacation, right? But still, there was a lot of good points. I'll tell you the good points. The good points were I used to have sex with her in public a lot. She was very hot, and she was really exhibitionist, and she didn't mind. I would fuck her in public. I remember fucking her in a park once, and some college students came up and looked at us and stood around us, and I was fucking her. She was like swinging her hair around. They were all girls too. It was so hot. The girls were running under the trees, and they saw us, and they thought we were joking around, and then they realized, holy shit, they're having sex. And then they just looked at us with like, it was hot. Actually, they looked at us like, I don't know what you say with desire. It was hot. Okay, it was very good. So I thought, hey, this girl's awesome, right? So anyway, so I take her to L.A. Well, in L.A., I fucked her in the jacuzzi, and at night, I didn't know it, but there was some guy watching us. He's sitting in the lawn chair, but I couldn't see it because the lights in the jacuzzi were in my eyes. I couldn't see, but it was pretty funny because she was so hot that nobody minded. When a girl's really hot, nobody cares if she takes her clothes off anywhere. She could do it in the fucking Boston Symphony. Nobody cares because they're like, that's fine. Even the cops, they're like, that's fine. It's just okay. You have to put them back on. Okay, that's fine. Nobody, even the girls, they're like, okay, that's fine. So anyway, in LA, I thought, hey, this is great, right? This is great. I had a great time. Brought her, it was fun. But then I realized something is that in Japan, she was not, I mean, she was hot, okay, but she was definitely in Japan. This girl was smoking hot, so she was hot in Japan, but she wasn't as hot as she was in LA, okay? So there was a bump up there. She had a bump up, and that affects you, right? And then the other thing was, is that she wasn't used to that new added, what do you call it, like attention. So like I remember some cops drove by and they stopped and catcalled her, and I was like, and then she smiled like big time, and I was like, whoa, because everyone has a flavor what you like, right? I don't particularly like super hot girls because they're just too much stress for me. Too much work, like trying to protect them, and trying to, I don't know, it's just a hassle. I got in a fight in Italy with some guy. It's just like a hassle. Like, it's like, to me, like a super hot girl's a hassle. I much prefer a more plain girl. I'll just tell you what I like. I like a plain girl who you take her clothes off and she's a superstar, but you can't tell when she has her clothes on. So when she whips out her fucking nipples, they're like these huge eraser, sexy nipples with just a fucking tight fucking slit, and it's like so hot, but you can't tell with clothes on. There's no way to know. So that kind of girl, she's got the firepower underneath, right? And she's got a sweet personality. Okay, she's not used to attention because you can't see this stuff. This stuff is invisible. The only people who know is the girls that take showers with her, and then nobody else knows. This to me is the perfect girl, because she's hot when it counts, and that's when the two of us are together, right? Not in public, not just, you know what I mean? Some girls are like really hot outside and actually super depressing when you take their clothes off. I don't know if you guys have had that, but it's very common. Like super, like they might have a really loose box, or they might have really weird nipples, or they might have weird skin, or just super disappointing, And if you ever do that, if you ever see a girl you think is hot, you take her clothes off and she's really disappointing, don't forget that. A lot of guys feel embarrassed about this because they're like, I feel bad, I can't, now I basically like her, took her out, and now I realize that she's not. I say run, because you're natural. You got to have a raging fucking wood for a girl. And that is the, what is it called? The divining rod in the old days. The divining rod would tell you which direction it was, right? That your fucking wood tells you what direction it is. And if the girl makes that fucking raging, then that girl is good for you. And if it doesn't, you got to run. You got to run, man. Do not let your logical brain try to take over, because it will not be a good relationship. No way. It has to be. That is necessary. I know it might sound crude, but it is not crude. It is love. It is true. It is real. It is one of the most real things that you will have in your entire life as a man. If your wood gets hard for a girl, that's important. You know what I mean? Like more than other girls. That's fucking important. Do not forget that. Do not downgrade that. Do not go into your head. It doesn't matter what she looks like, really. You know what I mean? If it's like, if you just want to just pound her fucking hips into the fucking bed every day, that's good. And that brings a lot of good things too to the relationship too. At least you have some real fucking feeling there, you know what I mean? Okay, so back to the girl. The cops were hot catcalling her. Everybody's fucking catcalling her all day. Everybody was asking her questions. Where is she from? Blah, blah, blah. Sushi this, sushi that. It was too much. It was too much. Now, she did not get a big head. So in this case, none of these cases so far, the girl's really bad. These are just normal things that happen. Like, you got to be ready for everything. A lot of guys, they think, oh, yeah, women like this. Hey, when you bring a girl overseas, you got to think about this other stuff. Okay, so if a girl's hot, you're going to have different issues. Now, let's say the girl's ugly. It's even worse. And if the girl's ugly, oh, man. Here's the problem with let's say an ugly Asian girl. She gets to your country, okay? And let's say it's not an Asian country. Okay, now all of a sudden, believe it or not, she's going to be pretty hot to a lot of guys there who are not used to Asian girls. And now maybe there's other Asian girls around, but they haven't had them in their close vicinity, right? They might, their vision of her might be that she's pretty darn exotic, right? Even if she's really ugly, she could be like balding, you know what I mean? She could have like gray hair, like, gray strands all over the place, balding. And a lot of guys could think she's like some kind of fucking China doll, It is possible. You don't know what other guys think. But believe me, before you do something, you need to know that they might think that. Because if they think she's smoking hot, you got problems on your hand. Here's why. Here's a big problem. Is when a girl grows up. She learns how to act as a woman, just like you learn how to act as a man. So now, but a woman is more important, because a woman, when they're growing up, they have to grow up faster than guys. Guys, no one cares about guys. People care a lot about girls. And as soon as the girl's starting to hit puberty, she has to learn how to fight off guys and to put male attention into perspective, right? She needs to deal with it right away. But an ugly girl, it's different. She doesn't really have to deal with that too much. Let's say an ugly girl, it's kind of fat, kind of ugly. She's pretty much ignored, right? Which, if you take her from that situation to a new situation where suddenly she's belle of the ball, she's the fucking queen out there, you don't know what you're getting, and she doesn't know either. I've seen this. I've seen girls who are very ugly change countries, and they get a very big head. Now that's fine. That's good. I'm actually a fan. I'm telling you, more and more girls will listen to this channel. I think you should go to where people think you're hot. Okay, don't get me wrong. I did that. I think everybody should do that. The thing is, if you're taking somebody over, you need to understand these dynamics because it has serious effect on you and your relationship and your money and your legal status and everything, right? So, an ugly girl is the most dangerous. A poor, ugly girl is the most dangerous, because when she gets money, when she gets attention, when she gets chances to get boned, okay, she might be like a starving man with a blade of grass. You know, a starving man will eat dirt and a blade of grass because he's like so hungry, right? A girl who's never been hot, suddenly, she's like fire. Dude, all bets are off with that girl. You do not know who she is, and she does not know who she is. And you're going to find out the hard way, because a very ugly girl could actually end up being a total slut, like really bad, because her self-esteem might be a lot lower than you think, and she needs attention so bad, and all of a sudden everybody's telling her she's pretty. This can go on for 20 years until she finally gets satisfied that she's feminine enough. Depends on how bad her childhood was, and depends on how much shit she got from her sisters and all that, right? And her mom and her classmates and everything. I've seen girls that, like, man, they're just starving for attention, you know, like, and I can understand that, but I mean, you know, like, when you pick a girl like that, you know, like, fuck, man, it's a pretty big shock. It's just basically total decimation for your relationship, right? There's no way you're going to keep this girl. And then she's going to be gone, and she's going to take your money, and you're fucking fucked. And if you asked her, she can never tell you that, because she doesn't even know this stuff. I'm telling you this stuff with 30 years Asia experience. I've seen this thousands, tens of thousands of times. I've seen a million different scenarios. And I know what I'm talking about. This stuff affects you, okay? I'm sure it affects girls when they bring a guy over too. But you know, you bring over, I don't know, like say a handsome South American guy, right? And you bring him into LA, that guy might be fucking pretty in demand, right? And he might not have been back home. And that's going to affect things. I know myself, when I got to Japan, I had more demand for me than I had before. I mean, I always had plenty of girls. I mean, I was not, this is the thing. There's so much bullshit on the internet about people in Asia. It's so fucking bullshit. Listen, some guys are in demand. They're cool guys everywhere. That's a fucking fact. And they go to Asia too. It's not like one type of guy goes to Asia. Every type of guy travels the world these days. And it can be interesting for every type of guy. You see guys that are fucking super handsome. I've seen guys in Asia that are fucking smoking good looking. And they fucking very successful. Make $300,000-$400,000 a year. Pilots, company owners, even more. Dating pretty normal girls in Asia. Like way below their level. I've seen that. It definitely happens. I don't know why, but it's actually not that uncommon, especially in Bangkok these days. You see like a pretty good looking guy and you ask him what he's doing. He's like, oh, you know, I'm the head of Amazon or whatever. He's like, whoa, fuck, you know, I'm flying for whatever, you know. It's like, whoa, okay, you know, Jesus Christ. So the thing is when I got to Japan, I got a bump up, but it wasn't from nothing, but it was a bump up, right? And that bump up affected me. how it affected me personally was I went from this is 1990. Okay, this is a long time ago. I was open to kind of dating a girl, but I always had more than one girl. Usually I usually had two, or three, like kind of side ones. You know what I mean? But when I got to Japan, I was like, fuck that shit. I said, I'm going 10, and I did. For many, many years, I had like 10 girls at a time. I tried more than that, and just no way. You can't sleep. You go insane. You lose your mind. Too many coffees. I did it. I was drinking 18 cans of coffee a day, and I was losing my mind. And they were sugary too. I was losing my fucking mind. And it was just crazy. I forgot names. I couldn't remember anybody's name. I was saying the wrong name. There was always fights at my door. There was girls like hanging out at my door all the time. My landlord was going crazy. She tried to kick me out of my apartment because we were making too much noise, having sex all the time with her. She had 3 sons, and she didn't like that. Like all kinds of like, she put a fucking pile of salt, like when the devil, to get the devil out of your house, in front of my door. Like it was like, people get really jealous when you fuck a lot of girls, and they get really crazy. Society cannot handle a cool guy. They can't. Society cannot handle a cool guy. And I'm telling you, the more you, I think the more you study this stuff that I'm talking about, the cooler you're going to get. And you're going to start to know what I'm talking about. You're going to start to have this, and you're going to be like, wow, that's true. I'll tell you something. A hot guy is hotter than a hot girl. Okay, that's fact. If you go to, let's say, an LA club, and you see, and I heard this from my friend Owen Cook, but it was so true, is in the club, George Clooney, not now, but let's say a few years ago, I don't know who the new guy is, but George Clooney in a club is way hotter than the hottest girl in the club. Way hotter, And it's the way it is. There's not many guys that are like that. But a hot guy is way hotter than a hot girl. Hot girls is just a dime a dozen. Tons of hot girls. But a truly hot guy, he's got it all. He's funny, he's handsome, he's got money, he's got success, he's got the swagger, he's fucking got the build, he's fucking got everything, right? He's intelligent, and all that shit. Oh man, that guy is just woo, man. He's just, the girls, they may be hot, but they're not gonna be hot that long. He's gonna be hot for a fucking long time too, That's the other thing. But either way, so the thing is, I got a bump up, and it affected me. And there was a girl trying to be serious with me, and I had met her in the States. She was my Japanese teacher, and she moved back, and I went to Japan. This is when I first went, and it was totally hopeless from the beginning because I had girls right off the bat, and I was like, and my vision changed. I was like, wait a second, why would I stay with, like, no matter how hot one girl is, if you have like say 300 girls getting new ones every week, like that one girl is going to get older, right? And she's going to get boring. But if you got a bunch of girls, guys love this shit. Get over it. Guys like variety. It's part of our fucking DNA. It is part of our DNA. We can't stop it. I'm not kidding around. This is not like be tough, be a man, buy a Ford truck. This is real. We're built this way. We are literally evolved for millions of years to be this way. We can act another way if we want to, but it won't be to our benefit. It'll hurt us. It'll make our testosterone lower. It'll make us more depressed. The more we go down that road, and you can see this today in society, depressed guys everywhere, because they're not living by their DNA code, right? They're totally ignoring the way they're supposed to be for whatever fucking reason. Yeah. So anyway, that will happen to the girls too. They're gonna, especially an Asian girl. She's gonna get to a new country. If she's ugly, if she's plain, if she's hot, everything's gonna be different. And you got to know you're dealing with something that she won't even know what she's dealing with because she's never dealt with it. So you got to keep a fucking eye on this shit. So I'll leave it there, and let me think if there's anything else. Did I say anything else that I forgot on this one? Anything else? If there's anything I'm missing? Customs? Okay, customs. Let's see here. Customs. Oh, yeah. Okay. So here's another one. Friend of mine, very good friend of mine, Drinkin' Dave. He listens to a lot of episodes. Fucking Drinkin' Dave. Shout out to you, my friend. Funniest fucking guy I've ever met in my life. I swear to God. I laugh so hard with Dave. It's like my heart. Like my stomach like starts hurting like crazy after a couple weeks, and I can't even fucking. I'm just like, please, Dave, don't look at me, because he would just say that I'd start fucking just cracking up. But we had the best trip to Cambodia. Oh my god, it was the very best trip. So anyway, and that was way back in the day. And so Dave had a Cambodian girlfriend later on, many years later, and he came to visit me in Thailand. I was visiting Thailand at the time, and so he came by with his girlfriend. And when they got to the airport, okay, now here's a problem with bringing a girl overseas. Big problem. The problem was this. We should walk around after this. We should walk around and film a little bit. I'll do this. So here's the problem. And this is unexpected. This goes into the fucking Jack in the Box problems, where it's like, it just pops up out of nowhere. So when you take a girl overseas, they're going to be shit like this popping up out of nowhere that you could never predict. But it's very, very serious, some of these problems. Almost like deal breakers. So anyway, with this girl, and I know this is going to be hard to believe, you're going to be like, what the fuck? Okay, so they get to the airport in Bangkok. Now, Bangkok is even back then, it was a very sophisticated city. They had a train, they got, Uber, they got fucking, it's a sophisticated, it's got like a 2-lane elevated highway, it's a big city, okay? So when they got to the airport, she had never traveled overseas, the very first time. So they get to the airport, and he grabs a Uber or whatever, and she looks at the car, and she's like horrified. And he's like, what? And she's like, and he's like, what's wrong, baby? And Dave's like, he always calls her baby. He's like, what's up, baby? And he's like, and she's like, man, she couldn't even describe it. She's like, basically what happened was she could not get in a car. She had never been in a car. And she was scared to death of, I don't know, it was the closed doors. I think it was the windows. Like she had never been in a closed vehicle before. And so she couldn't get in it. She was afraid of getting in a car. So they had to talk to the locals to get a tuk-tuk from the local tuk-tuks, tuk-tuks, they don't usually go very far, but the airport's pretty fucking far, right? So anyway, they got the tuk-tuk, they had to bribe him to get him to drive all the way into Bangkok, and which was normal back in the day, but now it's not. Now nobody uses tuk-tuk from the airport. Tuk-tuk is for like drunken guys going like 500 meters and, taking an Instagram. That's what it's for now. You don't drive to, Singapore in one, So anyway, so they bring it, and it's dangerous, right? Because people are driving like 70 miles an hour past this thing. This little fucking pile of crap, right? Just to down the fucking 4-lane highway, insane, right? Totally insane. Dangerous, But anyway, so that kind of thing happens when you bring a girl overseas. You don't know, and she doesn't know what challenges you're going to have. Now, I'm not saying these things are deal breakers, but what if she could never get in a car? What if she could never eat your food? This is a real possibility. These type of things are real. Not the car thing, because that's going to be very rare. That was a Cambodian girl. But things like this are like pretty shocking. They're like, and holy shit. Okay, now next one. Should you bring a girl over? Now, I know you're not thinking about kids, but believe me, Asian girls all are. Okay? That's why they want you. They want to have a kid. And so let's talk about kids real quick. Kids are, oh baby. Let's just say that everything goes great. Let's just say that, forget female nature. Just to say, this girl's awesome. She's like a unicorn. And she's totally great. She wants to have kids. She's totally healthy. The kid comes out, pops out, fucking super healthy. Everything's great. That's good. There's issues though. There's issues. Real issues. Like just things like in China, like for example, the girls won't get out of bed for a month after childbirth. It's a Chinese rule. And so their muscles go to shit. They're super depressed. Their parents come over. Everybody feeds them all day. I've done it. I've gone to the girl's house when the girls had a baby, and it's so funny. She's like an invalid in the house for a month. She just sits there, holds the baby. She sits in bed all day. It's very bad for your health, especially after having a baby. You should really move around, get the blood moving. It's very bad. But Chinese girls, believe me, you got a month in fucking bed there. What are you going to do in New York when you're running around and you're working 60 hours a week, and then she's sitting in fucking bed for a month? You know, and then you have another baby, another month. Who's going to take care of the other baby? You know, you don't know. She won't tell you because it's not that she's bad. She might not even think about it, and she might not even know. And then her mom's like, "Oh, you can't get out of bed. You have to stay in bed. I'll come over." You know, and she's like, "Well, why?" And she's like, "Well, you know." And the girl might even say like, "Mom, that's old. That's stupid." She'll say, "Well, if you don't do it, then Uncle so and so is going to be very, you know." And then Grandma blah 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 blah. And she's like, "Okay, I'll do it." You know, it's not even like she could be very modern, and she could do some Stone Age shit on you. You know what I mean? Some serious Stone Age shit, and you're like, "This is not good. Like, this is not good." Then you talk about raising the kids. Oh man, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some very good things, and the West has gone off the fucking rails. Okay, we know that. So in some ways, there's some good things that are even better about kids. But you know, kids get out and play more. They fucking don't sit around staring at their computer all day. Not in Japan, by the way, but in a lot of Asian countries. You know, the kids are all tan because they're fucking outside all day, doing shit, running around, climbing trees. I love that part. But the parts I don't love is just the stupid shit. Like one of them is the babies. They think the baby's always cold in China, so they always have like 400 jackets on the kid. The kid's sweating his fucking ass off, right? Kids are hotter than adults usually, right? The kid's blazing, and fuck, he hits you. Our car just got hit, and the guy's fucking driving away. Yeah, the guy of Porsche. Yeah, let's see what kind of. Yeah, he's sitting. Yeah, he just bumped into our car just when I'm talking. Crazy, and the guy's fucking hit and run. No way. Holy shit. I don't think the car's damaged. It was the bumper. Crazy. Anyway, so so things like wrapping the kid up in 400 jackets. You might think, oh, it's a one-day thing. It's no big deal. But hey, man, these things add up, man. Stupid shit is not good. It doesn't matter where it comes from. It could come from your country, come from her country. But these traditional girls, man, there's more of this stuff than you think. And okay, here's another thing. They can't swim. Most Asians cannot fucking swim, right? You know? They can't fucking swim. And so they what they do is, you know, they can drown and die. You know? It's true. It's real. They can fucking drown. And you probably think every girl can swim. Everybody can swim, right? But that is not the case. That is not the case. A lot of girls, they cannot fucking swim, Asian girls. Now, they're going to say they can swim, but you watch them. If you are a swimmer, you're going to realize that most of them cannot swim. And a girl who can't swim, anytime she falls in the water, it's going to be very traumatic for her. Very traumatic. And you got to be ready for this type of stuff. I was saying, like, when a girl, he went out and checked out the car here, but when a girl can't swim, she's going to be very traumatized if she falls in the water. And she's also going to be very paranoid about falling in the water. So she won't stand next to the dock. She won't, you know what I mean? Because she thinks, well, if I fall in there, you know, it's going to be scary. You know, it's not going to be good. And so, you know, usually most Westerners like to go to water on vacation. If you got a girl that's scared of the water, now here's the thing, when she's dating you, she's not going to tell you this. I mean, do you tell girls what you're scared of? You know what I mean? You don't. And she's not going to tell you. And she might even be embarrassed. But believe me, it matters if you can't swim. It's a serious thing. I've seen whole families die just because they can't swim. Like, they fall in the water, there's nothing going on. You just freaking float, you know? But they all die. Like, I've seen 2 parents and 2 kids die for no goddamn reason. Just that they were never taught to swim. That was in Japan. I mean, that is just so sad and insane, you know? I actually thought about, I started to film a course to teach third world people how to swim, because I get so many people asking me how to swim, because I'm a very good swimmer. Like, especially African guys are like, they watch me swim, they're like, how do you do that, you know? Because I'm a really good swimmer, right? And I like to teach people, I like to help people. But when you're dating chicks and you got, you know, like, let's say now all of a sudden you got a kid with this chick, she can't swim. So it doesn't matter when you're on vacation and you're boning her 24/7, but it does matter when she's taking her kids out, your kids out, all of a sudden she's going to think the water's dangerous. She's going to try to keep the kids out of the water. She's going to feel uncomfortable with the water. She's going to avoid the water. And then here you are, you might be Australian, where you're like, fuck, the number one thing is kids should fucking be able to climb and swim. And you're going to have certain things in your mind. And let's face it, if the girl really can't swim or is really scared of the water, and scared of the water is the serious one too, even if they can swim. Some of these girls are scared of the water. That's another thing. Be careful if they can swim. Don't watch them very carefully. A girl's out there floating and like she's on her back, she's spitting water in the air, she goes down, she's chasing things underwater. That's a girl who can swim. She's comfortable, you know. You have to drag her out of the water. A girl who swims across the pool with perfect stroke, that doesn't mean shit to me. That doesn't mean she's comfortable in the water, you know. It's a different thing. I'm talking about comfort. I'm not talking about winning the world record or anything. She's being comfortable, right? And so that's a thing. That's something you might not know about. She might think that dogs are dirty. You know, she might not tell you. She might say, oh, kawaii, you're cute, you know, whatever. But she might secretly think dogs are super dirty and very bad for kids. So no dogs, right? No cats. You know, no cats in the house. Those are outside things, you know, not inside things, you know. I mean, like for me, like I love dogs, you know. I like people, I like dogs, I like cats, I like rats, you know, I want all kinds of animals flying around, like breaking the windows. Like, give a fuck, you know what I mean? It's fine with me, you know. You know, but not a lot of Japanese and Asian girls, fuck, they can be pretty anal about the house. Like that's one thing about Western girls. It's kind of good. They're not too anal about the house in general. You know, that like it's not like kept like a hospital. Whereas like Asian girls is pretty common. So that's why I said you want to go to their house and check out, like I said before, if a girl says she can cook, that doesn't mean shit. You go to her house, you look for like empty frying pans, half cooked. You look for vegetables. You look for frozen food and packaged food. Look hard around her house to find out the truth. Because just because she can cook doesn't mean she does cook. Okay? And a woman who can't cook is going to be pretty much a shitty mom, right? The kids are going to be unhealthy. Frozen waffles every day. You know, it's not going to be, there's no vitamins coming down. So that's another problem. She might like food, but she might not be able to cook. And she might not want to cook. You know, it's a dirty secret that a lot of guys have married girls who can't cook. And that's the whole reason why the family's unhealthy. Because the guy's busy working. And the girl's at home and she can't cook. And she doesn't want to cook. And she refuses to cook. So the kids get frozen waffles every day. Every day. Comfort food is fast food for them. This is very, very sad. To me, this is a human rights violation. Like torture or poisoning or whatever. You know, this is a very evil, terrible thing. And I'm not saying she's evil. I'm saying it turns out to be evil. Because everybody's unhealthy and nobody can fix it. And, you know, once you got your comfort food set, this is your comfort food for life. You know, my comfort food is a fucking pile of vegetables. You know, that's what I grew up eating, you know, like an avocado, talking to my mom, and an orange, you know, while I'm just like snacking. That was my snack, right? You know, I grew up that way. So that's the way I am now. You know, so you want a girl who's going to raise your kids the right way, right? If you're going to, that's the thing. You start dating and kids come up along right away, especially Asian girl, you know. Oh yeah, I'm on the period. I'm on the pill or whatever, you know, it doesn't matter. Kid, you know. You start dating an Asian girl, kid. Kid. Kid is coming somehow. Don't worry. Fast. Very, very fast. Asian girls are very practical. The reason why they want you, you're a man. And they're going to have a kid. It's time to have a fucking kid. And there you are. You know. She's not thinking, oh, let's go travel the world and let's study programming together and let's figure out the Inca's history, you know. No, man. She's thinking, let's have a kid. Let's have a family. Right? So you might not be thinking that. You're thinking, hey, long distance dating. This is fun. She's got a hot ass. You know. You're not thinking this other stuff, right? Okay, so let's see what else. So the can't ride in a car, doesn't cook, won't eat any other food, only eats other food. Let's see what else. Let's see the hotness level, the social status level. Let's see what else. Of course, visas. Visas are serious, man. You know, like my friends that marry these foreign girls, I swear to God, they spend like at least 20% of their time in the immigration office or filling out forms. Like, it's such a big deal. I mean, it's total simp stuff too. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, we went down to do her thing and I hired the lawyer. I paid the extra $6,000 because he told me it's safer this way to train her for the interview. And then we're doing this and we're doing that. You're not having a baby. I mean, fuck, you're just helping her get a visa so she can fuck some other guy and steal your money, you know? Like, Jesus, you know, like, how far are you going to go, you know? Why don't you just stick the dildo right up your own ass, you know? Like, really, it gets so bad. I'm like, oh my God, like this is the guy's new mission in life, is to get her a passport. Really? You'll see guys like this all the fucking time. It's a dime a dozen guys like this. Because they don't start this way. It starts out like anal sex on the balcony, but it ends up like this, right? So watch out for that fucking visa thing. And it's more complicated. Visas are really complicated. They're difficult. Trust me, they are difficult. And it also depends on where she's from. Isn't that you? Even if you have experience with visas, if she's from a different country, let's say she's from a country that's considered not good by your country, you know, as opposed to a country that's considered good, like Singapore or Japan, you know, then it's considered a good country. But if she's from a country that's considered not good, like Laos, oh, you got a whole new package on your hands. And this is not even from her. This is from the immigration people. This is courtesy of your own government, you know, right? So, okay, so let me think. One other thing is, so immigration, I just thought of something else. Fuck, what was it? Oh, fuck, it was important. I'll put it in the comment section. This is one that was important, but I can't remember it right now. So anyway, those are some things to think about. And when you have a friend who's like happily dating along, you know, be careful about saying everything negative, because it's not going to change anything. Only do things that make sense. Okay, so if a guy's in love, he's in love. Okay, you're not going to do shit about that. Okay, don't even try. Don't even waste your energy, because all you're going to do is make him hate you, and that's not going to help him in the long run. So, but just know, the more you know about these things, you'll get a better view of, you'll get a better understanding of just the dynamics. I mean, it's so common, right? You walk in a California fucking supermarket and I see like 4 Asian girls with local guys. Like, it's so common now, right? It's a common conversation. Oh, by the way, I'm going to end on this. Oh, you got to watch this. Oh my God, if you haven't seen this, go to fucking YouTube and look for Ting Tong Honeymoon. Ting Tong Honeymoon, Little Britain. Oh, this is the best clip of all time. Ting Tong Honeymoon. All right, I'll leave it on that. All right, guys. Talk soon.